Sar. Sar.
La Yashala.
La Yashala. Sar. Sar. Imagine, which means to stand. Wapanya Hakudam, which means to rise and face the east. We'll start with the Lord's Prayer.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Abanawa. Salakia, like just scoot over just a little bit. Right there. You perfect, man. You perfect right there.
Tripping over that. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemaya.
Shabbat Shemaya.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shemka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakukah.
Malakukah.
Gaba'ah.
Gaba'ah.
Batazak.
Batazak.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Baharatazak.
Baharatazak.
Kawah.
Kawah.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashemaya.
Bashemaya.
Nathanaw.
Nathanaw.
Lacham.
Lacham.
Kal.
Kal.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Masalachlanaw.
Masalachlanaw.
Kawawafnaw.
Kawawafnaw.
Kasalachnaw.
Kasalachnaw.
Kawawafinaw.
Kawawafinaw.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Tabayanaw.
Tabayanaw.
Manasayawam.
Manasayawam.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashayanaw.
Awashayanaw.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Ra.
Ra.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalakwa.
Hamalakwa.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Wahatapara. Ma'avalamu. Aman.
Aman. In English. Our Father.
Our Father.
Which art in heaven.
Which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth.
In earth.
As it is in
As
heaven.
it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day.
Our daily bread.
Our daily bread.
And forgive us our
And
debts.
forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not.
And lead us not
into temptation.
Into temptation.
But deliver us.
But deliver
from
us
evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it. Hakak, the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Baba Kasha.
Baba Kusha.
Nathanaw.
Nathanaw.
Hakak.
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 La Pa'ah.
La Pa'ah.
Kal Makala.
Kal Makala.
Kal Madawa.
Kal Madawa.
Hakak.
Hakak.
La Tahor.
La Tahor.
Hamatazariah.
Hamatazariah.
Hakak.
Hakak.
La
Lahakli.
Hamathi.
Hamathi.
Hakak.
Hakak.
Abakawa.
Abakawa.
Natama'ala.
Natama'ala.
Nagarsham.
Nagarsham.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Tawada Aman.
Tawada Aman. So like in English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of
In the name of
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Please give us the power.
Give us the
The
power.
power to heal.
The power to heal.
All men of sin.
All manner of sin.
And all men of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the
The power to
lepers.
cleanse the
The
lepers.
power to raise the
The power to
dead.
raise the
The
dead.
power against the unclean
The power
spirit.
against the unclean
To
spirit.
cast them out.
To cast them
In
out.
the name of
In the name
Yahushua.
of Yahushua.
Thank you. So be it.
So be it. This is the prayer to bless Israel in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Barak Lanaw.
Barak Lanaw.
Wayashala.
Wayashala.
Waha.
Waha.
Bayaf Sapari.
Bayat Sapar.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Rapah.
Magun.
Magun.
Hagun.
Magun.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Ba'ashem Yahushua.
Tawada Aman.
The water Aman. What we just said in the English was Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Bless us and Israel in the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahushua. Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Ahahari.
Ahahari.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Izar.
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 Ma'an.
Ma'an.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shemaya.
Shemaya.
Waharatazah.
Waharatazah.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Regal.
Regal.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawam.
Shamar.
Shamar.
Hana.
Hana.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yayashan.
Yayashan.
Shawamor.
Shawamor.
Yasha'ala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamar.
Shamar.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazal.
Tazal.
Al-Yah.
Al-Yah.
Yamyaka.
Yamyaka.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashemash.
Hashemash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yikayaka.
Yikayaka.
Wayara.
Wayara.
Balayala.
Balayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Makal-Ra.
Makal-Ra.
Yashamor.
Yashamor.
Afnapash.
Afnapash.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamor.
Yashamor.
Taza'at.
Taza'at.
Wabu'at.
Wabu'at.
Aita.
Aita.
Wa'ai. Awalam. Aman.
Aman. In English, I will lift up mine eyes
I will
into
lift
the
up mine eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my
From
help?
whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from
My
Yahweh,
help cometh from Yahweh,
which made heaven and
which
earth.
made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth
He
thee
that keepeth thee
will not
will
slumber.
not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel
that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber
shall
nor
neither
sleep.
slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade
Yahweh is
upon
thy
thy right
shade
hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not
The
smite
sun
thee by
shall not
day,
smite thee by day,
nor the moon by
nor
night.
the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve
Yahweh
thee
shall preserve thee
from all evil.
From all evil.
He shall preserve thy
He shall
soul.
preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy
Yahweh
going
shall
out
preserve thy going out
and thy coming
and
in.
thy coming in.
From this time
From
forth
this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
So be it.
So be it. This is Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Al Damayalakha,
Al Damayalaka,
Al Fakarash,
Al Takarash,
Al Fashakwat,
Al Tashakwat,
Al
Al
Kayahana,
Kayahana,
Al Yabyaka,
Awayabi,
Yahama Yawan,
Yahama Yawan,
Wamashadai,
Wamashadai,
Nasha'awa,
Nasha'awa,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Al-Amika,
Al-Imaka,
Yarayamba,
Ya'irayamba,
Sawa,
Sawa,
Wayatayai Tazawa,
Wayafayai Tazawa,
Al Tazak Hawanyaka,
Al Tazak Pawanya,
Amawa,
Amawa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Wanakaki,
Wanakaki,
Magoya,
Magoya,
Wala,
Wala,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Sham Yashal,
Sham Yashal,
Aiwa,
Aiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Nawai Tazawa,
Nawa'ai Tazawa,
La,
La,
Yahad,
Yachad,
Alyaka,
Alyaka,
Marya,
Marya,
Yakarafa,
Yakarafa,
Wahoya,
Wahoya,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wayashamaoya,
Wayashima Ali,
Mawaba,
Mawaba,
Wahagaria,
Wahagaria,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Waimawan,
Waimawan,
Mamalak,
Waimalak,
Halasha,
Halasha,
I'm Yashabi,
I'm Yeshabi,
Tazawu,
Tazawu,
Gamashawu,
Gamashawu,
Nalawa,
Nalawa,
Aiman,
Imam,
Iowa,
Iowa,
Zerawa,
Zerawa,
Labanyalawa,
Labanyalawa,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Laham,
Laham,
Kamadi,
Kamadi,
Kasayasa,
Kasayasara,
Kayabi,
Kayabi,
Manachal,
Manachal,
Koyashwan,
Koyashwan,
Neshamadi,
Neshamadi,
Mayanda,
Ayanda,
Iowa,
Iowa,
Daman,
Daman,
Ladam,
Ladam,
Shayatamo,
Shayathamu,
Ladiyamu,
Ladiyamu,
Kaira,
Kaira,
Wakazabu,
Wakazabu,
Wakazabat,
Wakazabat,
Wakazalmana,
Wakazalmana,
Calling to say a come,
calling to say a come,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amawa,
Amawa,
Naya Rashad,
Naya Rashad,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Af, Nawa,
Na'awa,
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Shayatamo,
Shayathamu,
Kagagala,
Kagala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya
Lapanyaraka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Tabara Yara,
Gaba Iri,
Wakalahaba,
Wakalahaba,
Galaha,
Galaha,
Aryam,
Aryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Thirdat,
Thirdat,
Basara,
Basira,
Wabasawa Papa,
Wabasawa Papa,
Gabahalom,
Gabahalom,
Galah,
Galah,
Panyahom,
Panyahom,
Wawan,
Palawan,
Wayabakwash,
Wayabakwash,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Yabash,
Yabash,
Wayabahal,
Wayabahal,
Idiyah,
Idiyah,
Wayakapar,
Wayakapar,
Wayabadu,
Wayabadwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Wayadaiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Atha,
Atha,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Yabad,
Yabad,
Al,
Al,
Yawan,
Yawan,
Al,
Al,
Kal,
Ratazah,
Ratazah, Aman.
Aman. Psalms 83 in English. Keep not thou silence, O
Keep
Yahweh.
not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still,
And
O
be
Yahweh.
not still, O Yahweh.
For lo,
thine
thine enemies make
enemies
a
a tumult.
and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, the Baal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asa also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kazan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, and like Zed, yea, all their princes, as Zabah, and as Amunah, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So be it.
This is the prayer, the blessings of the past structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazabia.
Matazabia.
Alawak Yahan.
Alawak Yahan.
Ha Alawak.
Ha Alawak Yahan.
Ha Saranya.
Ha Saranya.
Hakatazayanya.
Ha Kwatazayanya.
Ha Kayayawya.
Ha Kayayawya.
Wa Wakya.
Wa Wakya.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Wa Hashem Yahweh Shah.
Wa Hashem Yahweh Shah.
The Wad Aman.
The Wad Aman. In English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yahanna. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. And the name of Yahweh Shah. Thank you. So be it. Oh, so like this. So like Yisar, which means to turn. Yeshabi, which means to be seated. Who was about to go into the curse. Listen to the curse.
Don't get his flag.
Come. There you go. Tighten it up and then push them down. There you go. All right. Yeshabi, which means to be seated. Go ahead and clap it up. All right. Everyone that's tuning in, anyone who's in the class, everyone that is tuning in, we are in Exodus, the 16th chapter. And we're starting at verse 14, all right? Exodus chapter 16, verse 14. We're going to start in the English. We're going to start in the Hebrew and then in the English like we have always done, okay? 16 and 14. 16 and 14. Go ahead and take it away, Elisha.
Kind. Exodus chapter 16, verse 14 in the Hebrew. What the ayah, Shabbath. No, Shakabath. Is it Shakabath? Shakabath. Hatal, Wahana, ayah, Panya, Hamadabar, Dak, Machasapas, Dak, Kakapar, ayah, Haratazah. Verse 15. Waya Ra'awa, Banya Yasha'ala, Waya Amarwa, Ayash, Al, Akyawa, Man, Hawa'a, Hayala, Yada Iowa, Ma, Hawa'a, Waya Amar, Masha, Alaham, Hawa'a, Halaham, Ashar, Nathan, Yahweh, Laham, La Akala. Verse 16. Zah, Hadabar, Ashar, Tazawa, Yahweh, Laquatwa, Mamanawa, Ayash, Lapaya, Akawa, Aymar, Lagala, Masapar, Napashakyakum, Ayash, Lamar, Ba'ahawa, the Quaqua. Verse 17. Waya Aishwa Khan, Banya Yasha'ala, Waya Lak Tawa, Hamarabah, Waha Mama Ayat. Verse 18. Waya Madwa, Ba'aymar, Wala'a Ha'ayat, Hamarabah, Waha Mama Ayat, La'a Hachasiyar. Ayash, La Paya, Akawa, La Quatwa. Verse 19. Wayamar, Masha, Alahom, Ayash, Al, Yawathar, Mamanawa, Ai, Bakwar. Verse 20. Should be the last verse.
Oh, that's the last verse.
Wala'a, Shemaiwa, Al, Masha, Wadarwa, Anashyam, Mamanawa, Aid, Bakor, Wayaram, Dawa, La Ayam, Wayabaash, Wayaquatazak, Alahom, Masha.
Most High Christ. So if anyone remembers from last week, also Shalom, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshua to all the brothers that's checking in, and all Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alatha, Ba'ashim Yahshua to all the sisters that are checking in and watching our class. Most High Christ, give yourselves a hand for everyone that is tuning in, right? Where we're picking up from this week, where we left off from last week was what? Someone who was watching our class last week, someone who's been paying attention, fill us all in on what we're reading about today and what we read last few weeks, actually. We've been reading about the Israelites that are coming out of Egypt. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that are coming out of Egypt. And for everyone who is curious about what this brother was just reading, he was reading in the Paleo-Hebrew. Give that a hand. Give the Israelite School UPK a hand, who teaches Paleo-Hebrew, who teaches our people their native tongue. As everyone knows, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have been oppressed and we have been subjugated and enslaved for thousands of years under different groups of people, different races of people. You have the oppressors of America, the British, the Dutch, the French, who colonized us 600 years ago, colonized our brothers and our sisters from the Spanish-speaking tribes known as the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Aztecs, the Incans, the Reubenites, or the so-called Seminole Indians, the native people of this land, have been conquered, oppressed, and colonized for hundreds of years in this modern time. 600 years, 700 years. Before that, We were colonized and oppressed by the Assyrians, by the Romans, by the Greeks, by the Egyptians. So we've been an oppressed people for a very, very long time. Right now, the oppression or the slavery that we just got out from under was the oppression and the slavery of the Egyptians, the so-called Africans. Those people had us in slavery for a very, very long time. But there was this black man, a brother from the tribe of Levi, the so-called Haitians today, named Moses, or Masha in the Hebrew, and he did the work of God. That's right. Him and his brother Aaron, or Aharon in the Hebrew, they did the work of the Most High God, and they went to Pharaoh. They went to that African, that Egyptian Pharaoh, and told him what God's demands were. But he didn't listen. It's like Trump doesn't listen when Commanding General Yana says to have mercy on the chosen people of God, the Mexicans, to have mercy on the chosen people of God, the Hondurans, to have mercy on the chosen people of God, the Guatemalans, and the Central and South Americans. Trump doesn't listen. J.D. Vance doesn't listen. Pete Hegseth doesn't listen. Pam Bondi doesn't listen. America hasn't listened, but that's no problem. They didn't listen in Egypt either. And Pharaoh had to lose his firstborn son, had to go through plagues of lice and frogs and famine and pestilence in order for Egypt to listen. Then what happened? After death arrived in Egypt, after the firstborn of all living things died in Egypt, he finally let God's chosen people go. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were able to be free then. And as we were going through the wilderness, as we had a hike and a trek through the wilderness, Pharaoh changed his mind. Like any man, you can change your mind. You think one thing one minute, and the next minute you don't think the same thing. You changed your mind. Well, Pharaoh, like any other man, he changed his mind. He did not want his slaves to go free. He wanted blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to stay in captivity the same way white people in the South here in America wanted us to stay slaves. Same way that Robert E. Lee, that Nathan Bedford Forrest, and all of those Civil War leaders and presidents during that time, or who later became president after the Civil War, wanted us to stay in captivity. Just like then in the 1800s, the late 1800s to the early 1900s during the Reconstruction, the oppressors here in America wanted black people to stay slaves. Pharaoh wanted that same thing years ago. They let us go, but they changed their mind and said, you know what? Who's going to now pick our cotton? Who's going to pick our peanuts? Who's going to cut this sugar cane? Who's going to build and erect statues and monuments and buildings and architect DC? Who's going to architect Mississippi? Who's going to architect and build infrastructure and businesses and buildings in the South now that all of our slaves are gone? Pharaoh had the same epiphany. He had the same thought process as white people in America in 1865. He had the same thought. Well, why would we want them to go free? They don't want their slaves to go free. So what did Pharaoh and his army do? They followed us through the wilderness, and we landed upon the Red Sea. And just like the name, it was a vast ocean in the Middle East. And this ocean was the barrier between us and them. And the Bible says that the Most High God parted the Red Sea. He had Moses lift up his staff, and the Most High continued with showing his miracles to the entire earth. And the Most High wanted his love to be known throughout the planet Earth, that these are the people he chooses. These people, the Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, are the one people who you cannot hurt on this earth, who you cannot do harm to on this earth. The Egyptians drowned in that same Red Sea. The same Red Sea that protected the Israelites was the same Red Sea that unalived all the Egyptians, because the Most High God wanted everybody to know this is who his love is with. This is who his covenant is with. These are the people that he respects and loves and chose throughout all the races of people on the planet Earth. And so now what we're reading about is the ungratefulness that can seep into the minds of an oppressed people. There's something called Stockholm Syndrome, Elisha. Something called Stockholm Syndrome. What is Stockholm Syndrome? Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological a psychological, what's the word? A psychological issue, a problem that a person could have when they develop a like or a love, an affinity to the people who oppresses them. There was a white girl. This is where it started. This is where psychologists got this diagnosis from. There was a white girl who was kidnapped by a black, what are they called? I don't think it was the Black Panthers, but there was a black militant movement at that time, and there was a few crazy nut black people who kidnapped this white girl. And after they kidnapped this little white girl, she began over time to love them, even though they abused her, would only give her food during certain times of the month. She began to have a love attached to these people who kidnapped her. And white people who were psychologists and experts that were doctors and scientists, they could not believe it. They said, well, why would she want her captors to not be punished for what they did to her? And so they had to develop a diagnosis that is now known throughout the world called Stockholm Syndrome. And Stockholm Syndrome is when a oppressed or enslaved people begin to love the people who oppressed and who enslaved them. And that is what we have always had since the book of Exodus. Just last week we read, as we began to get hungry and began to want water and food because we're on a trek to our destination through the wilderness, we began to be ungrateful. And we began to we began to forget just how the Most High God is merciful and just. After he just parted the Red Sea, we began to be ungrateful. We began to develop Stockholm Syndrome. We asked for Moses to go back to Egypt. We began to say, you know what? Who is this God that will lead us out here to die? He killed the Egyptians for us to die too. Is he a God that doesn't want anybody to live? That's what the Israelites asked Moses. We began to be ungrateful, and we also began to have Stockholm Syndrome, where we loved our oppressors so much that we wanted to go back to Egypt. We wanted to go back to picking cotton. We wanted to go back to the flesh pots of Egypt because we had it so good as opposed to the struggle of freedom. And so now what we're picking up from now is the quail, which are lawful birds that you can eat, and manna, which is bread. The Most High God heard the murmurings of the Israelites, and he provided quail and manna for the Israelites because we complained about being so hungry. We complained about being so thirsty. We complained about not having the flesh pots, which are restaurants in Egypt. So this is what we're picking up from right now. Exodus chapter 16 and verse 14. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness, there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoar frost on the ground. Verse 15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, it is manna, for they visited not what it was. For they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread. This is the bread which the Most High hath given you to eat. So what is manna? It's bread. It's bread from the Most High God. Verse 16. This is the thing which the Most High hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. Now, what is this teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? Anyone want to give it a try? Somebody answer my question. And when they did meet it, this is Exodus chapter 16, verse 18. So what did the Most High God order Israel? What did the Most High God tell Moses to let Israel know, to order Israel to do? Gather this bread according to, let me read it right. Gather of it every man according to his eating. What does that mean? In America right now, you have people who die, not because they're hungry, not because there are lack of resources, not because there is a lack of food. You're going to die in America from overeating, from obesity, from having too much medical care, too much food, too much resources. That is what you're going to die from in America. What does this mean when the Bible says that Moses gathered all of us according to our eating? What does that mean? Someone want to give it a try? Someone online? Shalom, sis. Anybody online? Any man or woman online want to give it a try? Elijah, you want to give it a try? Give it a shot.
Somebody says.
You can look at the comments on our YouTube page. What did that person in just comments say?
Free Palestine.
Oh, they just trolling.
Yeah. So like if I may, you just getting enough. You just getting the amount that you need. Like
give the brother a hand.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, that's exactly what it says. Give him another hand, because that's exactly what it says. And let me tell everybody, I know they may be bots, but the people who are saying free Palestine, the Palestinians, they have a government. They have a people, they have a law, they have a land. They have somebody who is going to defend and protect them. There is no one who is going to defend and protect blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So instead of saying free Palestine, what you should be saying is free blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Because right now, the so-called Mexicans and Hondurans and the Guatemalans face persecution from America. America is sending ICE, the immigrant department of ICE, to go into the children's school and to get those babies out of school and separate them from their families. When have the Palestinians in America ever had ICE go into their school to separate them from their family? When have the Jewish man ever had his family separated by the hands of America? From what I know, Elijah, until today, America gives Palestine, Israel, billions of dollars in aid. The Ukrainians, billions of dollars in aid. That's what America does for people who are not black and Hispanic. But when you're black and Hispanic in America, you don't have enough. That's what happens in America. You get treated poorly, over police brutality, school to prison pipeline. When have Palestinians ever filled up the American jail cell? When have the Palestinians ever filled up the American prisons to the tune of 2.5 million? When has that ever happened to the Palestinians? The Palestinians have jobs where they're from. They make up their own rules and laws where they're from. They have their own people and their own homeland where they're from. They have their resources and they have their own people who are their race that decides when they're going to eat and what they're not going to eat. You know what black, Hispanic, and Native Indians have? We have the same slave master who was over us 300 years ago, still deciding and making decisions for us. We don't have people who look like us that are over us to defend us like the Palestinians have. We didn't have it in 2,000, 6,000 years ago. We didn't have that 6,000 years ago. You know what we had? We had Egyptians that were on our tail that tried to unalive us. And then as we came out of the wilderness or in the wilderness, we began to have Stockholm Syndrome, Elijah, and developed a love for our Egyptian slave masters, even though God already put them all to death. Now the Most High God, who is our provider, who is our Father, He gave us food to eat. He gave us manna, which is bread from heaven, and quail, which are lawful birds to eat. And here we are complaining. Moses gave out the food according to who needs it, according to how much you need, not according to how much you want. That is the difference between a righteous society like the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and a unrighteous society like America or Palestine or Israel. That's the difference. See, over in Israel, those Jewish white people are persecuting the Palestinians because the Palestinian leaders have sold their people to the hands of the Israelis. And so now, though the Palestinian leaders receive billions of dollars, receive multi-millions of dollars, their people suffer. In America, we don't have a choice. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians don't have the same choice, don't have the same love that the Palestinians have. Palestine was oppressed for 40 years, Elijah, 40 years. Meanwhile, and they couldn't take the 40 years of oppression. Meanwhile, my great-great-great-grandfather picked cotton, and I'm still here in 2025 picking cotton 400 years later, Elisha. 400 years, my people have been oppressed. The Hispanics have been oppressed, and we haven't sent bombs to America the way the Palestinians sent bombs to Israel, Elisha. Those Palestinians were oppressed for 40 years in the desert somewhere and on the Gaza Strip, and they couldn't handle 40 years of oppression. That should let you know the Palestinians are free, Elisha. They are free people. There are people who don't have Stockholm Syndrome. The Israelis, the Jewish, they don't have Stockholm Syndrome. How do I know the Jewish man doesn't have Stockholm Syndrome? Because after World War II was over and the Germans lost, they still had to face a Nuremberg trials for all of their atrocities to the Jewish man. When was our Nuremberg trial here in America after the Civil War? When were black people able to confiscate, to be the judges over their own justice in the South of America, to persecute the slave masters who had black people enslaved for 236 years? When were we able to have a Nuremberg trial? When were we able to receive the reparations the Palestinians and the Jewish man received from other countries? When were there ever a military from other countries to come over here and defend black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people? When was that? It never happened. You know why, black man? Because our protection, our military, our strength and our might comes from the Most High God. And if we will not obey God, if we will not do what the Bible says do, then we won't ever receive the justice that God has for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You have something you want to say, Elisha? Please.
If I may. You know, we always have to hear blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We always have to hear, like, you know, like the comment, whoever made the bot, the troll, whatever. Maybe it is a Palestinian. It probably is a real Palestinian. But it just goes to show you, like, when you see brothers up here teaching the Bible, when you see brothers trying to unite their people together, you always have other nations that want to show us about their struggle. When, like you said, Adawan, we've been struggling for nearly 400 years in this country, and now you had the nerve to tell us free Palestine. Mm-hmm. They told us when we were trying to, you know, make a better life for ourselves, and we weren't complaining about all our grievances here in America, to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. So let me ask you, what is Palestine doing to free Palestine?
That's right.
You understand? Like, what are y'all doing to free y'all? But it looks like every other nation uses what we did here in America, you know, the little liberty that we do have as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that we fought for. You benefit more from it than we do.
That's right.
You understand? So we've already fought for your wars. We fought to free Palestine. We fought to free all these other nations. But as soon as you see us trying to join ourselves together, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we still have to hear your grievances with your oppressor. Go fight your oppressor.
That's right.
And let us fight ours.
That's right.
Let us join our brothers and sisters together.
That's
and
right.
You go join yours.
That's right.
So you need to go tell Palestine to free Palestine.
That's right.
We don't want to hear it, man.
That's right.
Salakia. That's all.
And Salakia, if I may add on to what you said, Elisha, the Palestinians already fighting their own battle.
There you go.
That's the reason what started the war over there in the middle. That's the reason why Israel attacked Palestine this last time, was because the Palestinians at an Israeli concert in Israel, they sent drones to bomb the Israelis in that country. So when Israel retaliated and began to unallow the Palestinians, it was in self-defense. Because the Palestinians, unlike Negroes in America, unlike the Hispanic brothers and sisters in Central and South America, we have never attacked America for the crimes that they've done against us. The Palestinians are so free, Elisha, that they could send bombs to the Israelis and bomb them when they're having a concert. That's how free the Palestinians are. Who is going to free blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians? That's the question that you should ask, because those are the people who've been oppressed on this earth for a very long time. Since the book of Exodus, we've been oppressed. And now that we've come out of Egypt, the Most High God, hearing our murmurs and our complaining, Elijah, he gave us manna. He gave us bread that fell from heaven. He blessed us with quail, and we still found a reason to complain. So for all of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that are paying attention and watching this class, this is the lesson that you should take from what we just read. I'm going to read this part again. This is Exodus chapter 16, verse 16. This is the thing which the Most High hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating. Now the brother already broke it down. Officer Elisha already broke that down for you. When the Bible says gather every man according to his eating, this means gather every person and give them just what they need to eat. According to your eating is how much you consume in one day. See, in America, because of how much resources, the vast amount of food that you have access to, you are going to not starve to death. You are going to have too much to eat. That's how rich and how disgusting and how decadent America have built themselves up to. America has so much resources, so much land, so much food that people in America don't die from starvation. People in America, they have what's called obesity, which is an eating disorder. You're so fat, you have such a larger body habitus because of how much you consume in a day. Because of how much you consume. There are children that are 10 years old with obesity. 10 years old with a large body habitus. The body mass index is increased in more over the years. Over the years, the BMI, your body mass index, for the average American has gone up. It hasn't gone down. That means you eat too much. You eat too much. And as you eat so much, you don't think about that brother or sister that's sleeping outside that has nothing to eat, which is what makes the Black Christian church and America so disgusting, in that there are poor people who sleep outside. There are poor people who are homeless and who can't get secure food or secure resources, and there is some rich bastard sitting in the White House. There's some rich bastard that is sitting in the pulpit in your Christian church, your reverend and your deacon, who has more than enough, and some brother or sister sleeps outside. America is the richest country to ever exist in world history, and there are people who are going to die from not having the resources that comes abundant to so many in America. Let me break that down for you in statistics. For every homeless person in America, there are 22 vacant houses. For every homeless person, there are 22 vacant houses that a homeless person could go and live in. And you have some rich bastard that is in the White House who takes all of the greed, just like your pastor. Your pastor, Marvin Sapp, who's going to keep you locked away in the church until he gets $40,000. For who? For the poor people that attend his church? For the poor people who sleep outside his church, down the street from his church? That $40,000 he collected was for him and for all of the pastors that was in that pulpit with him. And you're going to give it to him just like you've done to the Black church for the last 60 years. You're going to give him the $40,000 to pay his rent, to pay his mortgage, to pay his jet fee, his fuel fee for his jets. You're going to pay it to him when there is some poor person that sleeps outside under the bridge, and they're going to die. They're going to die in America, a country that is the richest ever, and they're going to die. You know what protects the hungry and the poor? You know what protects a brother or a sister who doesn't have that much, who doesn't have enough food to eat? The laws of the Most High God. The Bible just said, give to every man according to his eating. Every man, you don't need a 40-bedroom mansion in every state of America. That's called avarice. And that is the greed of America. The decade, who was it? The brother back in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, Adam Clayton Powell. He called the Christian church the most decadent place in America because of how greedy your Christian pastors are. They take all of the money and wealth for themselves, and it leaves their parishioners poor and destitute, living in squalor in the ghetto. They have the money to feed Black poor people, to feed poor Black Hispanics, to feed poor Hispanics and Mexicans, and to house them as well, but they take it all for themselves to buy 40-bedroom mansions and to eat the finest caviar and to eat at the finest restaurants. For what? You eat you spend $1,000 at one of those places they go to. What's the places them hoes like for y'all to take them on the first date? What's that place called?
Social Prime, Social.
Not that, it's another one that everybody knows. Everybody knows this place. If I say the name, everyone's gonna know it. If you know it, type it in. There's a restaurant that every black man has to afford in order to take out a woman to be high class. And I'm trying to think of the name of this restaurant. It's not Hibachi's. It's another restaurant. And every black hole goes to this restaurant. Every whore goes to this restaurant or wants to be taken there, Elijah. You don't need to eat at the finest restaurants where there are poor people who are dying in the streets, literally. This summer, when the heat reaches over 100-degree heat index, there's going to be homeless people that will die.
Roof
Chris, the water. Get his brother hand. That's that place that all of these hoes love for you. I don't think we have one here either, but they are popular among the average man and woman. Everyone knows what Roof Chris is. It is an expensive restaurant that is like $1,000 just to dine for two people. That is more than the person's eating. You don't need to have that much. You don't need to have every Rolls Royce that comes out. Like Floyd Mayweather, who has a car collection in every city that he has a house. You don't need that. You need just what you need. This is what Christ said. He said this. Give me Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13, Elisha. Give me that prayer. When Christ was teaching us how to pray, he didn't teach us to pray to hit the lottery. He didn't teach us to pray for every Rolls Royce like your Christian pastor or your favorite black celebrity. He didn't teach us to ask for more houses. This is what Christ asked for. Matthew chapter 6. Verse 9 through 13. Give me the Lord's Prayer. Give me that quickly.
This is Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. You saying?
Verse 9 through 13. Go ahead. Now, what does it say?
Verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye.
Now, this is Christ speaking. When the disciples of Christ and the people who they were teaching asked Christ, how do you pray to the Lord? Because no one really had taught what prayer was or how to pray to the Most High, because no one really knew the relationship between the Israelites and God. We always just thought of the Most High like a dictator, like somebody who doesn't have feelings for his people. Someone who we didn't understand the Most High God. Christ came along and taught us who the Most High God was to us, his relationship to us, meaning blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and the type of person or the spirit that he has. He doesn't have a spirit of Donald Trump, who is a greedy, lustful bastard. Christ, the Most High God doesn't have that spirit. He doesn't have the spirit of greed. He doesn't have the spirit of being someone who cannot have sympathy on someone. The Most High God does have mercy, unlike your president. The Most High God does show mercy and kindness. And contrary to popular belief, the Most High God also changes his mind. He may think something one minute, but based on your behavior, he can think something another minute. He can be the same God who's about to put you to death and out of your misery. You could live a life for the Most High, obey his laws, and then he can change his mind and spare your life. That's the same God. And Christ had to teach us this. And the best way to learn and understand the Most High is to understand a father. The Most High God is a father to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So although a father can be stern and austere, he can also be merciful and kind. That's the Most High God. And that's the dynamic. And that is who he is to us. So keep going, Elisha.
After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven.
Give me verse 11.
Verse 11. Give us this day our daily bread.
When you read this, I want you to taste every word. I want you to emphasize this. Read it again from the top.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day. Read it like that.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us what?
This day.
Give us this day. Everyone hear that? Not tomorrow. Not 6 months from now. You ain't stocking up food for 15 years like those stupid preppers do on TV. That is greed. Having more than what you need. Christ said when you pray to the Most High, pray this way. Give us this day. What?
Our daily bread.
Our what?
Our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread. Don't give us more than what we need, oh Heavenly Father. We don't need 10 houses. You don't need a jet. What the hell is Floyd, man? He can't fly on an airplane like regular common folk. You have to have a jet. You have to have 15 cars. For what? You have to have 22 houses. When there are people who are homeless? Nah, that's not Israel. That is a selfish nation that does that. And that is America. And that same selfishness is going to be the downfall of this country. Being so selfish, so high-minded, so greedy, so decadent, to the point that you have homeless people here in America and they're the richest on the planet. So listen, there are states in America that have a higher gross domestic product than countries. California and Texas California and Texas could be their own country based off of the gross domestic product that they earn. Based off of the money that those states have, Alaska, they could be their own country. And they are part of the 50 states of America. And in those same states, they have a high homeless population when the statistics say that for every homeless person in America, there are 22 houses. You remember that when you see the next billionaire that you love, like Oprah or Floyd Mayweather, buy another house, and there are people who are homeless, and they're going to be locked in prison because they're homeless. America is so greedy and so disgusting. They show no mercy on people who don't have enough, so much so that they create laws that are against someone who doesn't have what they have. America wants everybody to be rich and have 15 homes. But what about the brothers and sisters who can't afford that lifestyle? What about someone who is homeless? What about someone who's living paycheck to paycheck? America, they oppress the poor more. They oppress the poor more. You're someone who doesn't have a home. What is America going to do? Throw you in prison. Am I making this up? Am I exaggerating this? I am not. Elijah, give me the law in the state of Missouri alone about homelessness. Give me the law in Missouri about how it is illegal to be homeless. It is absolutely against the law for you not to have a home. It's illegal to be poor in America, in a country that has states with a higher GDP than most countries. In a country, for every one homeless person, there are 22 houses. In a country with a vast amounts of resources, a country that has so much wealth that is insurmountable, and they still are going to oppress the poor. The Bible is how you cure that illness. The Bible is how you stop homelessness. The Bible is how you stop poverty. The Bible is the perfect way on how to amend the problem with poor people. The problem with poor people, it isn't because they don't work hard enough, like rich bastards want you to think, like Elon Musk. The problem with poor people is not that they don't have the drive to have more money. That's what capitalism teaches. The problem with poor people is simply this, Elisha. The problem with poor people is that the people who have the riches and the wealth don't share it and give it to poor people. That is the problem. The Most High God doesn't want a system of government that teaches poor people to work harder so they can be rich too. It's not a sin to be poor, contrary to what America teaches and the Christian church teaches. The problem with poor people is rich people. That's the problem with poor people. Poor people don't die from being poor, not because there aren't enough resources in America. Poor people die from not having enough food to eat, not because there's not enough food in America. Poor people die in America and are homeless because rich people aren't forced to give what they have to poor people. That is the problem in America. Read what you got, Elisha.
It looked like it may have been from right here. They may have revised it.
Let's see what it says. Read that right there at the top.
Right here. Mm-hmm. In Missouri, a law passed in 2022 initially making sleeping on state-owned land a Class C misdemeanor was struck down by the Missouri Supreme Court in December 2023 due to violating the state constitution's single subject clause.
So it was a law just in Missouri for you to be thrown in jail. Class C, right?
Class C misdemeanor.
That means you can get a ticket, a fine,
and even prison.
And even jail time for sleeping outside, for not having a house, for being poor. That is the country we live in, Elisha. The Bible is how you amend that. The Bible is how you change that and fix that. This is what God said. This is the thing which the Most High hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and omer for every man according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, like this brother just said, and some less. Now, why would some people have to grab more, and why would some people have to grab less? It's simple logic. Go ahead, Elijah.
Oh, it's like it. I mean, it could be due to, the size of your family.
Give the brother a hand. That's the only reason why there are some families who have 15 people. Some families have just one person. There's just some women who are single who have no kids. There are some brothers who are single with no kids. If you're single with no kids and they're giving out food, why in the hell would you take 15 slices of bread? You only need one slice of bread. Why? Because you're one man. If you're a woman with 14 kids and you have a family of 15, you're going to need 15 slices of bread. Why? Because you have to feed yourself and those children. You see how homelessness and poverty, it doesn't exist when you keep the laws of God? Because the rules and the laws of God, they create solutions to every problem you face here in America. Every problem you have here about poverty and homelessness, the Most High God knows just what to do with poverty and homelessness. The people who have more than enough are going to have to share with the people who don't have enough. It's that simple. You don't have to go to the Congress and legislate and to amend laws and rules. You simply have to make you simply have to make rich people give what they have to make sure poor people have enough. Those 22 houses for every one homeless person, you're going to have to start filling those vacant houses with homeless people, and then you won't have a homeless problem. See, this is what rich bastards in the White House and on Capitol Hill want you to think. They want us to believe that there aren't enough resources here in America for everybody. There are more than enough resources here for everyone. You know how vast and enormous America is? There are states that have a higher cow to human ratio than there are states with more cows than people. Kansas is one, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. There are people at a cow to human ratio. I'm not making this up. These are studies that people do. There are more cows in those states than there is people in those states. That's how much food you have. That's how much openness and how much land there is. That's how much America has to give away to the poor. They don't do it simply because America hates the poor. Guess who else hated the poor? The Egyptians. Egypt was the same way. Greece was the same way. Rome was the same way. Babylon was the same way. This place is spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt and Rome. They do the same thing. They oppress the poor and they make the rich richer. The laws that they pass is to benefit the corporations and the rich. The laws they pass don't benefit the poor, or else there would not be homelessness. You don't think America could end homelessness in a day? All they have to do, Elisha, is give out all of those vacant homes they have to people who are homeless. All they would have to do is force rich people to pay the way for poor people to live. You don't think they could do it? They could. They don't, because America doesn't want the poor to live. They want the poor to die. Well, God wants the poor to live. See, that's the common misconception about black Christian preachers. Black Christian preachers think that God wants you to be rich. God does not want you to be rich. God doesn't care if you're poor. That's the common misconception. They think that God is in heaven like, man, it's sad that these brothers and sisters are poor. It's sad that they don't have the money. God is looking at the poor like, who's going to defend them? That's the way the Most High God looks at it. You think that the Christians teach us that. God is looking at you like, man, you can't afford your bills this month, so you got to get a third job. And God is like, man, it's sad that they're poor. God doesn't say, oh, it's sad they're poor. You know what God thinks? It's sad that he's so rich and he doesn't give it to the poor. Contrary to popular belief, it's not a sin to be poor. It's not a sin to be poor. You know what the sin is, Elisha? When you have so much money, so many resources, that you don't share them with the people who don't have enough. See, in the Isupk, we truly believe in and live the Bible. We're not just some group that just talks about what God says and don't abide by it. We live by every word in this book. God said to give out bread according to every man's eating. Well, that's what we do. We don't take more than we need, unlike your leaders that are on Capitol Hill, unlike your Christian preachers that are in those churches that you go to every week. We don't take more than we need. We take just what we need so we can make sure every brother and sister, every family, every poor has what they need. This is the opposite of greed. Everyone understand? This is the opposite of selfishness. This is called being selfless. Everybody understand? Verse 17, verse 18. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over. You hear that? He that gathered had nothing over, meaning you gathered just what you needed. You didn't gather more than that. You had one house for your family, not 15 like Floyd Mayweather, like 50 Cent. You had a place that you had one car or one vehicle for your family, not 80. Not a ton of Rolls Royces, not a 15 car collection. That's called greed. Greed. And it's something that God is totally against. Verse 20, I'm still on verse 18, I'm sorry. And he that gathered little had no lack. And they gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. What does that mean? Let no man leave of it till the morning. What does that mean? Everybody is just breaking it down for you line by line. Every man gathered what they needed for their family. Those who took little had enough. Those who took what they needed had enough. Everyone took what they needed. And the scripture said, and Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. What does that mean? Anybody want to take a wild guess? Trolls that are online, you want to answer this question? The sisters, brothers in the school that's watching, you want to answer this question? What did that mean when the Most High said, and Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning? What does that mean? What is the it that the Most High God is talking about? Anybody know? That's speaking about their resources that they're gathering, their bread that they're taking. Say it again, Elisha.
Oh, so like now I was reading Salaki.
You two are. That's speaking about the bread that they're gathering for their families. Leave no man of it. So now you have to take just what you need, and there will be nothing left. Why? Because everybody has what they need. Everybody understand? This is verse 20. Notwithstanding, they hearken not unto Moses. Moses is laying out a plan for everybody to have what they need. You know what the scripture just said? They hearken not unto Moses. We are a hard-headed race of people. People who don't want to listen to the man in charge. That's why you purple homosexuals don't want to listen to Commanding General Yohana. You want to listen to some sodomite who is going to lead you down the path of destruction simply because you don't want to listen to the man of God. You Negroes that voted for Trump or voted for Harris, the only reason you voted in this election is because you don't want to listen to the man of God. You listen to T.D. Jakes and Marvin Sapp because you don't want to listen to Commanding General Yohana. You were the same way 6,000 years ago, Elisha. We are so hard, we're so hard-headed and are so hard-headed, we try to do things our own way instead of doing things the way God ordered us to do it. Now, how simple is it for a house to get what they need? How simple is that? How simple is it for you to just take what you need and go and live your life with your family? Oh, no. We had to disobey what Moses said. We had to just not even do what he said. This is what the Bible says in verse 20. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses. But some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was wroth with them. You know why Moses told us to take, every house is going to leave with something. He didn't want to leave any bread left because then it would rot. You know, now, to put this into perspective of today, what is going on here? So there's a phrase that every black father or every black mama have told us when we were kids. When you're eating dinner, what does your mom or your dad or your guardian when you were growing up in a black or Hispanic household tell you? What did they tell you, Elisha?
Clean that plate.
Say it again.
Clean that plate.
Don't what? Don't waste no food. We don't waste no food around here. That's being wasteful. That's why Moses told us, don't leave anything left. Every house, take what you need. He just told you this. What did some houses do? They left of it. Now the worms came to eat it. You just wasted food that God gave you. Now how ungrateful could you be? You're begging Moses to go back to Egypt so you can eat the flesh pots, and then when God gives you bread, you waste it. You waste it. That's a spit in the face. A spit in the face. That's why it said, and Moses was wroth. What does it mean to be wroth with them? He was so angry with them. He was so angry with us. Why? Because we wasted the food God gave us after we just complained that we didn't have enough. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Somebody gives you something, they help you. Don't waste and willow away their help. Don't do that. The ISUPK helps so many brothers and sisters throughout this country and outside of this country. Haiti and UK, Dominican Republic, Mexico, here in Kansas City, St. Louis, here in America. We help so many people. Don't just be ungrateful. Be thankful for the help and don't waste the help. Now, this is going to be key on how to understand life. How would you not waste the help that the Most High God gives you? You don't waste the help. I know no one's going to get it, so I'm going to give you the answer. You don't waste the help that God gives you by serving the Most High God. When the ISUPK goes out on these food drives, and we give out tons of food that we give out, and we go out and Commander Juliana pays your rent, or Commander Juliana provides a means for you to live, the way that you don't waste that help is by coming into the ISUPK. That's how you don't squalor away the help that the Most High God just gave you. See, we wasted God's help then by letting food go to waste. But now when Commander Juliana gives you help, the best way that you can thank the Most High God is to do what? Come and serve God in the ISUPK. There's so many brothers and sisters, Elisha, I have seen over the years in the work of the Lord that leave the truth after they just received help from Commander Juliana. You are spitting in the face of the Most High God. God provided you with that help. So what are you going to do? Leave and go back to the church? Leave and go back to the world? You waste the thing that God gave you, man. Don't do that. Everyone understand? Don't do that. Read what you got, like that. You back in the Hebrew, by the way.
Come. This is Exodus chapter 16, verse 21 in the Hebrew. While Atwa, Babakwar, Ayash, Banya, Salaki, Kapaya, Aklawa, Pacham, Hashamash, Wanamas. Verse 22, Wayahaya, Bayawam, Hashashya, Lakwatwa, Lacham, Mashana, Shanya, Ha'aimar, Lachad, Waya Ba'awa, Kal, Nashe Ya'aya, Ha'aida, Waya Yadwa, Lamasha, verse 23. Wayamar, Alaham, Hawa'a, Ashar, Dabar, Yahweh, Shabbathwan, Shabbat, Kodash, La Yahweh, Machar, Ashar, Ta'apwa, Abwa, Wa'a, Ashar, Tabashlawa, Bashawa, Wa'a, Kal, Ha'aidap, Hanayahawa, Lacham, Lama Shamara, Habakwar, verse 24. Waya Yakwa, Atwa, Hapakwar, Ka Ashar, Tazawa, Masha, Wala'a, Habayash, Wara Ma La'a Hayata Bawa, verse 25. Wayamar Mashal Akla Hawa, Wayawam Kaya Shabbat Ha Yawam, La Yahawa Hayawam La'a Damataza Ahowa Bashada, verse 26. Shisha Yam Yam Dala Kwatkawa Wabayawam Hashabayaya Shabbat La'a Ya Bawa. Stop at 27. Last verse. Verse 27. Wayahaya Bayawam Hashabayaya Yatazawa Man Ha'ain Lalakwat Wala'a Batazawa.
All right, this is Exodus chapter 16 and verse 21. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day, Shashah in the Hebrew, 6, on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man, and all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Verse 23, and he said unto them, this is that which the Most High has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Most High. Bake that. This is going to cut for Israelites here, Elisha. Tomorrow is the Sabbath, and the Most High is ordering them to bake bread on the Sabbath. Did you just hear that? All you fake Israelites listening and think you can't do anything on the Sabbath, including cook. God is telling the children of Israel to cook this bread on the Sabbath. This is verse 23. And he said unto them, this is that which the Most High has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Most High. Bake that which you will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. Verse 24. So clearly they're going to eat on the Sabbath. You see, the Lord said, bake what you're going to bake today, you're going to keep it tomorrow for what? To just leave it there? To eat it. You're not doing what fake Israelites think. Fake Israelites think that you were made for the Sabbath. So they think that you can't do anything but lay in a bed on the Sabbath. You can't go to the bathroom and use it. You can't drink water. You have to just lay in bed for 12 hours and do nothing and just stare at the wall, stare at the ceiling. They're idiots and they don't know the Bible. God just said, bake that bread and eat it tomorrow on the Sabbath. You're not going to just do nothing because you were made for the Sabbath. I'm sorry, because the Sabbath was made for you, not you for the Sabbath. Everybody understand? Verse 24. And they laid it up till the morning as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Most High. He said to eat that, Elijah. He didn't say to just lay in the bed and do nothing. If you eat something, what are you doing, Elijah? You're working. You have to move and work to get this bread. You got to heat this bread up, seed it, you got to eat it. You're not just laying in a bed and just staring at the stupid wall for the Sabbath service. I'm sorry, for the Sabbath. That's not the way the Sabbath works. You can do what you want on the Sabbath because it was made for you. This was an order from the Lord to do this on the Sabbath. This should let everybody know that you can eat and cook on the Sabbath. You could go and do what you want on the Sabbath that is lawful because it was made for you. Everyone understand? This is verse 25. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Most High, which is why we also have bread for the Sabbath service. This is also part of our culture. That bread is a part of our culture. Why? Because when we came out of Egypt, the Most High, what we're reading about now, told Moses for the Sabbath, bake this bread. So this is another precept. When you come into our Sabbath services and you see we have baked bread for the Sabbath service, that is one of the reasons why we have baked bread for the Sabbath service. Verse 26. So like you. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Most High. Today ye shall not find it in the field. Verse 26. 6 days ye shall gather. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. Verse 27. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. This is simply just about listening. This is simply about listening to the orders of the Most High, following the orders of the Most High. What does it mean to follow the orders of the Most High here? Following Moses' orders. You think that you think following God's commandments or orders means that God is going to tell you something. God is going to tell you something through the man that he established and put over the people. That's how you listen to God. You don't listen to God by talking to God. Well, Jesus, what'd you say? And you think that God is going to answer you in some loud bass voice like, oh, well, you're like on the 10 Commandments. You think life is Hollywood, like a movie. Life is reality. How on earth are you going to talk to God and, yeah, God, what'd you say? You want me to win the lottery? You want me to play the lottery? You want me to take all of my rent money and take it and use it for studio time so I can become the next Jay-Z? That's what you think life is like. God talks to one man. That man that he put over his people is going to tell you what to do, and then you do what he says do. That's how you follow the orders of God. That's how it has always been done. That's the way it's done today. God isn't talking to you, telling you to use your tax return money to go and become the next Beyonce or the next Jay-Z. That's not how it works. Commanding General Yohana is the man that God set up over his people. When you listen to what Commanding General Yohana says, you're listening to God. You're obeying God by obeying Commanding General Yohana. It's simple enough to understand, Elisha. I don't know why people don't understand that. God set up Commanding General Yohana to lead his people. You follow God by following Commanding General Yohana. It's simple, huh? Coming to you, Isupk, follow Commanding General Yohana. That's how you follow the Most High God. It was done that way thousands of years ago. It was done that way during the time of Joshua, who we're about to read about right now. It was done during the day of Christ. It was done during the day of Paul and Peter. It's done now. God isn't talking to you. He's talking to the man that he established over the people. That's how you listen to God, by listening to Commanding General Yohana and the men that he has pre-set up over your city. Listening to him is how you listen to the Most High. Everybody understand? They did not listen to the Most High because they did not listen to Moses. Verse 27, and it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none.
Back in the Hebrew, Exodus chapter 16, verse 28. Wayamar, Yahweh, al Masha, Aid, Ana, Ma'anatham, La Shamar, Matazawatya, Warthya. 29. Rawa, Kaya, Yahweh, Nathan, Lachom, Hashabath, Al Khan, Hawa, Nathan, Lachom, Bayawam, Hashashia, Lachom, Yawa, Yawam, Shabawa, Ayash, Dacha, Dayawa,
the Kafua.
the Kaf,
The Kaf.
the Kaf, the Yawa.
No, the Kaf is how you say that middle part.
The Kaf, Yawa.
There you go.
The Kaf, Yawa.
There you go.
Oh, Yataza, Ayash, Mama Kwamwa, Bayawam, Hashabayaya. Verse 30. Waya Shabathwa, Ha'aim, Bayawam, Hashabaya. Verse 31. Waya Korawa, Bayath, Yasha'ala, Af, Shamwa, Man, Waha, Wa'a, Kazarai, Gad, Laban, Wata'aimwa, Katazak Yakaf, Badashah, that's like it, Badabash.
I wonder if that's the thermostat. It's a little warm in here.
Yeah, it is.
Might have to see, that's the thermostat turning the air.
Wayamar, Masha, Zah, Hadabar, Ashar, Tazawa, Yahweh, Mala'a, Ha'aimar, Mamanawa, Lama Shamara, Lada Rak Yakam, Lama Aim, Ya'ayawa, Ab, Ha'aham, Ashar, Khalafya, after Kam, Bamadabar, Bahawa Tazayaya, after Kam, Matazaria, Marataza Matazaria. No,
34
Salaki. 2 more verses. Wayamar Masha Aharan Kwak Tazanath Akaf Watan Shama La'a Salaki Mala'a Ha'aimor Man Wahanak Athawa Lapanya Yahweh Lama Marat Larath Yakum, verse 34. Last verse. Kashar Tazawa Yahweh Al Masha Wayan Yahweh Aharan Lapanya Ha'aida Lama Shamarat.
This is Exodus chapter 16 and verse 28. And the Most High said unto Moses, how long refuse you, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? The Most High God, when Moses was wroth, it was for a reason, because you disobeyed the Most High. So you think disobeying Commander Junior Hana, when he tells all of you fake Israelites to come to the ISUPK, to come back home to the ISUPK, we're not affiliated with any other organization or Israelite group. That comes from the Most High God. You're mad at Commander Junior Hana, which means you're mad at who? You're mad at the Most High God. You don't listen to Commander Junior Hana, which means you don't listen to God. When you don't obey the law, the rules that Commander Junior Hana put in place. We have so many rules in here, camp rules for every goddamn thing in the ISUPK. On top of obeying the laws of God, when you don't follow those rules and you get high, when you break the 6-month rule on getting a husband or a wife, you're breaking the rules of the Most High God. You see how life works? It's easy. Life is so easy when you obey the man that is in charge. Now you don't have to worry about getting high and overdosing on fentanyl. You don't have to worry about serving jail time. You don't have to worry about some woman claiming that you assaulted her unjustly. You don't have to worry about impropriety. You don't have to worry about so much when you just simply obey God's rules, God's law. How do you do it? By obeying the man God put in charge. It's easy. That's how life is supposed to work. America has us thinking different. This is verse 29. See, for that the Most High hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. Go out of their place to do what? The Bible just said, abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. What's the 7th day? The Sabbath day. Why did the Most High say, and the house, I'm jumping ahead. Why did the Most High say in verse, what verse is that? 29, 20, 30. So the people rested on the 7th day. On verse 30, why did the Bible say so the people rested on the 7th day? So no man go out of his place on the 7th day. Go out to do what? This is going to cut all you fake Israelites and Judaism. This cuts Judaism, which is where fake Israelites get their beliefs. Fake Israelites get their beliefs from Jewish people who keep the customs of Judaism because they don't understand the Bible either. And they look at the Bible as they look at the Bible like something to hurt people, but not something that is spiritual and practical. Why wouldn't you go out on the 7th day? We know it's the Sabbath. We already got that confirmed. Shalom, brother. We already got it confirmed that the 7th day is the Sabbath day. Why would someone not go out on that day? Go out to do what? Anybody want to give it a shot? Elijah, you want to give it a shot? What doesn't the Lord want you to go out to do? Why does he want you in the house to rest on the Sabbath day? Go ahead.
Oh, he doesn't want you to go out and slave or work.
In this context, that's good. That's correct. But in this context, what does he not want the children of Israel to go out to do on that day, on the Sabbath day? In this context, what does he not want you to go out to do? You know?
Oh, to go get bread.
use another word instead of get.
Or the
gather. Give the brother a hand. The Lord doesn't want you to gather bread, which is why I just said, this is the 6th day, tomorrow's the Sabbath, so I'm going to give you bread for 2 days. Why? So you don't have to go and gather more bread. Because that will mean that you are doing what? If you're going out and I almost gave you the answer. This is going to cut so much of that Christianity you have on your mind about the Sabbath day, or Judaism about the Sabbath day. You think that you can't benefit yourself on the Sabbath, meaning if you wanted to go and if you wanted to get bread for yourself, you think this is what that means. This is not what this is. Who had you going out and gathering bread before the Sabbath day? Who had you do it? Moses had you do it. So who were you working for? I gave you the answer. You're going out working for Moses by gathering this bread to take to people who don't have enough. Go ahead.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Under the same breath, would that be like, okay, now if the Lord provided the manna on the Sabbath, instead of gathering it for the 2 days, or however the process that the Lord see fit, wouldn't that be like working on the Sabbath technically for the children of Israel?
It would no.
Because he's providing the.
This is why I say no. Because don't think of it like a Christian. When the Lord provides you with something, somebody has to give the order for it to be gotten.
That's my point.
That's what Moses did. Moses gave an order for us to go and gather it, meaning we were working for Moses.
Well, I mean, on the reverse though, because everything rests, technically on, well, not technically, everything, the Lord put everything to rest on the Sabbath, even the creation. After the creation, everything rested on the Sabbath. So I guess, what I'm asking, with the manna that we provided, would be work going towards the children of Israel. That would have to be work.
That would be work to benefit who though?
The children, but I'm just saying, wouldn't that still be work?
Not benefit the children. Who would it be benefiting? Who would you be working for?
Well, I mean, I'm just emphasizing, just saying the rest. That wouldn't be rest for however the manna.
So your question is exactly, if we were to go out on the Sabbath.
Not we, but I'm saying how the manna was provided. However the manna was provided.
Oh, okay. I see what I'm saying.
You're
saying that if there was still bread left in these storehouses to go gather on the Sabbath, if we went out on the Sabbath to go gather them at this time,
if the bread was provided on the Sabbath, like it was provided every other day.
Okay. So you're saying would that be working?
Right.
Yes.
That's what I'm.
And this is the reason why it will be working still. Okay, I understand what you're saying now.
On the reverse, though.
I understand what you mean now. So so the brother's question is, so every other day, so between the first day, which we call now Sunday, until Friday, the 6th day, Moses had the brothers working to go and grab the bread so that they could give it to the people according to their need. Okay, now the officer's question is, if on Saturday or on the 7th day, on Sabbath day, if Moses still had us go out to get this bread, would that be considered working for Moses? That would be considered working, which is why the Most High God didn't want us to do it. The Most High God doesn't want us to do work for someone else on Saturday, which is why, as we are building our own kingdom, as you're reading this, remember, we're on the verge, on the what would that be called? We're on the incline of building our own kingdom, our own nation, right? We're down here right now. We just came out of Egypt. We was at our lowest. We were slaves. Then the Most High God brought us out of Egypt. Now we're going through the wilderness. So now we're meeting here. So now we're at the climax. We're getting to the climax of us having our own nation with our own rules, our own laws. It's starting right here. So as we're reading this, remember, we are in a position to follow the laws of God. The Most High God doesn't want you to go out and, like the brother said earlier, slave for someone else. He doesn't want you to work for someone else. Us going out gathering that bread, that manna, was us working for Moses. The Lord wants us to be at home, chilling, resting, doing what you want to do on the Sabbath. Everyone understand? You understand, Elisha? So if the Most High God had us going out and like every other day, the other previous 6 days to go out and work on that Saturday, or work on that seventh day, to be more specific, on the Sabbath day, we will be doing what? We will be breaking
the Sabbath.
We will be breaking the Lord's day, the Sabbath. That means the Lord will want you to go out and do the thing that he doesn't want you to do. That will be contradiction. It will be the Lord being a hypocrite, and the Lord is not a hypocrite. The Lord told us to rest at home, chill at home, so we're not working for Moses. The other 6 days, you're going to go out there and make firewood and pick and gather bread for Moses. The other 6 days. But on that seventh day, the Lord wants you to rest. He wants you to take that day off and to do what you want with it. Why? Because that is the entire reason why the Most High God created the Sabbath, was for you to do what you want. In particular, he wants you to just relax, man. You can work all the other 6 days. You can do what you need to do all the other 6 days. The spirit behind the Sabbath is, this is the day for you to just enjoy it. You don't get to enjoy any other day. What other days do you get to enjoy? You can't enjoy the first day, or what we call today Sunday. You can't enjoy the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Why? Because you're out there working. You're out there doing something for your nation. You're out there working for another man. You're slaving for a business or a company. When are you going to do something for yourself? When are you going to go? Now, at this time, I'm putting this into today's context, but because at this time, they didn't have doctor's appointments, dental appointments. But what other day will you go to your doctor's appointment or dental appointment, or be able to go to the hospital to get your checkup, if you can't do it on the Sabbath, because every other day you're busy? You see how the Lord had us a day off implemented in our own laws, our own rules, our own society? In our society, on today, which is the Sabbath, you will be able to stay home and do what you want to do. You don't have to go out and pick this bread and gather bread for everyone else. You don't have to go into that, report into that slavery on today. You don't have to go to work on today. You don't have to go and do everything else on today. Today you can go and do your pay your bills. Today you can go to that doctor's appointment you've been meaning to go to get that checkup. You can go to your dental appointment. You can go to the grocery store. You can go and do what you want to do on the Sabbath day, because that is why the Lord gave it to you, for you to enjoy it. If the purpose of life is just you working all the time, you're going to work yourself to death, and you're never going to get a chance to enjoy the life that the Most High God wants us to enjoy, wants us to work hard to. You will never get a chance to do that. Why? Because you're always slaving for somebody else. You're always out and busy. You never get a chance to spend time with them kids. When are you going to get a chance to take them kids to the park, read to your children, interact with your family? Make love to that beautiful Black and Hispanic and Native Indian wife of yours? When will you ever get a chance to, if you don't have the Sabbath day to rest? God is merciful. He's not Donald Trump, who, if it was up to Donald Trump, you would have no days off. You wouldn't get a chance to spend time with them kids. You won't get a chance to make love to your spouse. You won't get a chance to do anything other than benefiting somebody else, if it were up to our oppressor. Remember, at one time, before the labor union laws, it was 7 days a week. That's what the Labor Day is for. Labor Day is because you have a 2-day weekend, thanks to the labor laws of America in America. Before, brother, you were working every day, even on Sundays. There was no day off for a person working or slaving in America. Why? Because the oppressor is cruel. And he wants more money for himself. More labor for you, it means more money for him. Bigger houses, more cars that he doesn't need, more food that he doesn't need. That's the reason why our oppressor wants you to work every day. But the Lord does not. He gave us a day off. And this is at the climax. This is us reaching the top of building our own society, Elijah. And building our own society, the Lord is not a hypocrite. He's not going to tell you to do something in another man's society that you won't have done for yourself in your own society. So just like we have to take, just like the Sabbath day or the 7th day is a day of rest in anyone else's society, it for damn sure is a law and a rule and a day of rest in our society, in our community, with our own rules and people and laws and government. That's the emphasis on this verse in this chapter right here. Everyone understand? That's what you have to remember. As we're reading is, just remember, we are our own. It's hard to understand because we're in captivity and we live amongst other races of people. But think about Black Wall Street. Think about just blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We have our own community, our own nation. There is no Russians, Ukrainians, Arabs, white people. There's nobody else with us. There's us. We have leaders, right? You have Moses, who was the leader under the Most High God. The Most High God gave us Moses. Then he has his generals, which are leaders. He has his generals. He has a military, right? We have women, we have children, we have families. We have a nation of people. Just remember this, Elijah. This is what I want everyone to remember. As we're reading this, there's no other nations. It's hard to understand because we've been in captivity for so long. But there's no other nations with us. We have our own government. We have our own rules, our own military. We're on this trek through the wilderness so that we can get to the land that the Most High God has for us to rule over. That land is called Israel. And it borders those rivers in Genesis that we read about a few months ago when we were still in the book of Genesis. It borders, those 4 rivers border what now people call the Middle East. That is what we're leaving Egypt. So just think about on the map. I wish I had a globe. Egypt is over here. Israel is right here. There's a strip of water that separates, and there's a little strip of land that connects Israel to Egypt. So the Lord made a way for us to get through the Red Sea. We're on a trek through the Red Sea. We left the Red Sea. Now we're at the point where the Lord gives us manna and laws and commandments and statutes and a culture, and we have all of these things now. Now, as we're still on this trek to get to Israel, to get to the land that He has for us, we fall upon these stumbling blocks. What are the stumbling blocks? Our complaining, our murmuring, our laziness to not want to do for ourselves. Where is that a stumbling block else in history? Right now, okay? Black people have begun to be so afraid of our oppressor and lazy that we don't want to fight for what's ours. That's why we don't have more people in the truth. The truth doesn't have 1,000, 100,000, million people in the Isupk for one reason only, because you are more comfortable with being a slave. Because being a slave means you get 3 meals a day, you get somewhere to live possibly, and you don't have to fight you have the police to call when some drug dealers are on your street. You see that? When you're a black slave, you don't have to now go and build up an army of black and Hispanic men to defend your community. You can just call your oppressor to defend your community. It's a lot easier. It's more convenient. That's the word. It's more convenient to be a slave under your oppressor than it is for you to fight for your own military, for you to create your own government. It's easy to talk about. Niggas like Dr. Umar, excuse my language, but people like Dr. Umar Johnson and the conscious community and all of these blackity black, so black and so woke, it's easy for them to articulate and pontificate about what it's going to be like when we rule and we in Africa and we have our own land and all. It's easy to talk about. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go and buy that whore on Prospect. It's easy to say, man, black people got to do better. We got to stop all of this black on black crime, Elijah. We got to come together. And then guess what you're going to do? You're going to have sex with a woman who has a black man on child support. That's what you're going to do. You're going to say, man, we got to come together. We got to love our brothers and love our people. And we got to stop all of this fighting. And then you're going to go to jail for selling your brother that you love so much crack and weed. You're going to say, man, we got to practice group economics. We got to bring all of them. We got to have the black dollar and build the Black Wall Street again. We got to build black and start black. We got to do this and we got to do that. We got to spend the black dollar. We got to use that black dollar we have and we got to come together. And then you're going to buy Christmas gifts for those spoiled kids of yours. Then you're going to participate in Thanksgiving. Easter is coming up. You're going to go to a church and let your children participate in a bunny patch, find whatever, bunny thing, bunnies. You're going to buy Easter, you're going to buy Christmas, you're going to buy Thanksgiving, but we got to bring the black dollar together like shop. You're going to buy weed, buy cigarettes, buy drugs from the drug dealer on the corner, but we got to bring the black dollar together. You don't really believe that. You just want to talk about it because it sounds good on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. It gets you views. And getting more views means you get more money. You don't really care about the welfare of Black and Hispanics and Native Indians. You just want to talk about it. You want to talk about our struggle and how that's easy to do when you don't have to worry about creating a nation of your own. You think Dr. Umar Johnson can build an army and a military that can defend Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people like Commander Giuliani is doing, like he's done since 1969 in the Isupk? Huh? You think that any of those nuts that you listen to on social media could do or carry the burden that Commanding General Yana has carried? You know how hard it is to get Black people just to come together, let alone for us to think on a one-track mind? You know how hard that is? It's not so easy when you actually have to put your words to action. And that's what we do in the Isupk. We don't just talk about Black love and Black unity and coming together with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We don't just say, amamos a nuestra gente, and then we go and say, man, we don't really give a damn what Trump is doing with the Mexicans. We don't come together with the Haitians and talk about the Haitian poverty, and then we don't do anything about the Haitian poverty. We come together as one race of people, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, and we do something about our problems. We are fighting for a government of our own in here. We're not fighting so that we can still be slaves in America. We're not fighting when Black people vote, when Black people want to become senators and congressmen, Elisha, they're doing that in hopes that America treats us better. That's why you vote. That's why you go to those city council meetings and you vote and cast a ballot and you discuss Black issues. You do that because you want America to treat us better. Instead of going to the ballot and voting, why don't you come together with Commander Giuliani and build a nation of people who Black people can depend on? Why are you trying to beg your oppressor to treat you better? Why are you voting for Donald Trump to treat you better, or Kamala Harris to treat you better, or the White House to pass laws for Black people to be better off in America? That will never happen. It won't happen in the United Kingdom. It won't happen in Mexico. We will be treated terribly forever, no matter who's in charge, because we need our own. That's the reason why. What are you trying to build on another man's foundation? So you think Donald Trump is going to pass laws? You think Barack Obama is going to pass laws to benefit the slaves that built this place? Are you crazy? We have to fight for our own place, our own land, our own laws, our own military and government. And that's like it. That's what we're doing here in the Isupk. So as we're reading this, just remember, this isn't America. This isn't Egypt. We're out of Egypt. We're out of America. We have our own rules, our own people, and we're going to our own land with our own resources and our own government. That's how I want you to think. Think like that as we're reading this. Everyone understand? Let's keep going. You have something you want to say? Go ahead, please.
Just real quick, if I may. And as you're reading this, man, just envision what we're trying to get Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to realize. We're trying to get Black people to realize, we have a soft spot for our oppressor. And like you said it earlier, it comes from Stockholm Syndrome. Mm-hmm. You understand? And with that soft spot for our oppressor, we then develop an envy of our oppressor. But the Bible says, envy not thy oppressor and choose none of his ways.
Yeah, right.
Because if we envy our oppressor so much, and we start to think that their ways are better than the ways of the Most High God. And it's actually the opposite in the Bible. That's why we want to go vote. That's why we look for so much sympathy and we look for so much
change.
Not change. I'm not the word change. We look for so much validation from our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? We think through the validation and the sympathy that we're searching for, we're going to get change. Right. We're not going to get change that way. The only way we're going to get change is like the Bible tells us, we got to come up out of her. We got to stop trying to do what the oppressor do and do what the Most High God tells us to do.
That's right.
That's the only way that we'll get some type of justice. Looking for any type of justice from the people who oppressed you is insanity.
Right.
You understand? It's just insane. Like he couldn't have said it any better. Like you expect Donald Trump to come give you something, hand us out something, and we just gonna have a better life? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work that way.
You must be crazy.
Kind of the kind. So the Bible teaches us in the book of Proverbs, man, don't envy the oppressor and choose none of his ways. You understand? And we just gotta realize and focus on that if we focused on each other and loved each other and gave the respect and love for our brothers and sisters as we do the so-called white man or any of the oppressors, the Africans, the Arabs, the Chinese, if we focused on us, we would be much more better off. That's a lot.
Right. That's the absolute truth. That's the truth. You can't expect your oppressor to treat you better, but when you have terrible black leaders like our leaders, terrible Hispanic leaders like our leaders, then you can believe that. You can absolutely think that. But the Bible would have you believe that you can create your own. Now it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard work. If you get high all day, how in the hell could you get up and lift a finger to do anything to benefit your people? You have to stop getting high and participating in the sins of America first before you can actually do something for yourself and for your people. That's real revolution. Not voting, not marching. Real revolution is changing of yourself and the changing of your people. Then you can get things done.
That's right.
Let's go to verse 32. And verse 31. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coriander seed white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Whew, that sounds good, brother. That's what manna tasted like. It just is the children of Israel just described in the Bible what the taste of manna was like. It was delicious. Verse 32. And Moses said, this is the thing which the Most High commanded. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. Verse 33. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Most High to be kept for your generations. Verse 34. As the Most High commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. 34 is where you stop, right?
Count. We on 16 and 35. Go ahead. Exodus chapter 16, verse 35 in the Hebrew. Wabanya, Yasha'ala, Akawa, Haman, Araba, Ayam, Shana, Arabayam, Shana, Ba'am, Arataza, Nawashabah, Haman, Akawa, Ba'am, Huataza, Arataza, Canaan. Verse 36. Waha Aimar, Aisharyah, Hayapa, Hawa. Exodus chapter 17, verse 1. Wayasaiwa, Call, Aidath, Banya Yasha'ala, Mama Debar, Sayan, Lama Sa'ai Yahum, Al Paya Yahweh, Wayachanawa, Wayachamwa, Barak, is that right? Or Barapa, or Barak Yadyam.
Khan, you said it right.
Barak Yadyam, Wayan, Mayam, Lashaf, Ha'ain. Verse 2. Wayarab, Ha'ain, Ain, Masha, Wayamarwa, Tanwa, Lanawa, Mayam, Wana Shata, Wayamar, Laham, Masha, Ma, Dara, Yabawan, Imadia, Ma, Dana Sawan, Yahweh. Verse 3. Wayataza Ma'a, Sham, Ha'ain, Lamyam, Wayalam, Ha'ain, Al, Masha, Wayamar, Lama, Za, Ha'al, Yathnawa, Mama Tazarium, Lahamya, Afya, Wa'at, Banya Wa'a Makwanya Bata Bama so like it Batazama. Verse 4. Wayataza Ike Masha Al Yahweh La Amar Ma Aisha the Aim Hazah Aiwad Ma'ait Wasak Lanawa. Is that right? Last verse, verse 5. Wayamar Yahweh Al Masha Aibar Lapanya Ha'aim Wakwak Atak Mazakwanya Yashala Wamatak Ashar Hakaya Bawa Ha'ai so like Hayara Kwak Bayadak Wahalaka.
This is Exodus chapter 16, verse 35. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah. Chapter 17, verse 1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys, according to the commandment of the Most High, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Now, remember, this is 40 years past.
Man.
It's work it's good to just talk about things. That's fine, to just talk about it. But it doesn't get things done. Everyone understand? You can articulate your point so much, like Dr. Umar or a lot of those fake doctors in the conscious community. You can talk about it until you're blue in the face. Dr. Umar Johnson been on the internet saying he's going to build a school for 20 years out. It hasn't done anything because it's good. It feels good to talk. That's why you go to church, you hear a pastor talk and nothing gets changed in your life because it just feels good to hear someone talk about all of these things that they're going to do. That's what politicians do. But they don't actually do the thing they say they're going to do. And for 60 years, you're going to vote. 60 years you're going to vote. From 1965 into 2025, niggas, black people have voted, and nothing has changed in our communities. It's easy to talk. It's harder to actually do, because then you're going to have to work for 40 plus years to get to the point where your people can have their own land, their own rules, their own laws, their own government, their own holidays. So it's easy to just do a lot of talking. Everyone understand? Verse 2, wherefore the people did chide with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide you with me? Wherefore do you tempt the Most High? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses. We didn't learn our lesson in 40 years. 40 years ago, which are 2 generations ago, we just had manna that fell from heaven after we chided and murmured to Moses about how there ain't no food to eat out of Egypt. Now you're going to do it again? That's why Moses said, wherefore do you tempt the Most High? Tempt the Most High means, are you going to anger him again? Like being in contempt of court. It means you angered the judge. That's an old way of saying you angered somebody. Are you going to tempt the Most High? You're going to anger him, provoke him to wrath because you want to chide and murmur and complain more about how there ain't no water? You haven't learned to trust in the Most High God yet. You haven't learned when we were coming out of Egypt with the manna 40 years ago. 2 generations, only 2 passed, and you still haven't learned to just trust in the man that God put up to lead his people to the land of Israel. You still haven't learned that lesson. You haven't learned that lesson to just believe that the Most High God will give you clean water. What do? At the sight. Now you see why Christ came and said, O ye of little faith, why do you doubt? Now you see why he had to say that. Because although black people are religious, we don't really have faith in the Most High God. To have faith in the Most High God means you have to do work when you don't see anything being done. We've been coming to this library since I've been here in Kansas City teaching the Sabbath service. That's what we've been doing, Elisha. Working, doing work, going to camp, food drives. Does that mean, and because we don't see more and more people come in, does that mean we just give up and say, we're just done? I tried. I did my best. That's what you niggas always say. I did the best I could with raising this child. Well, do better. Because clearly your best isn't good enough. So what do we have to do? Work harder. here in Kansas City. We have to work harder. We got to work overtime, putting in work. Like Benjamites like to say, work. We got to work harder. Why? Because clearly the work we're doing isn't hard enough. Now, you mean to tell me in 40 years they didn't learn that lesson? That clearly you just have to simply have faith in the Most High. You have to believe that Moses is going to provide for you the way that he did coming out of Egypt, because he's the prophet of God, the man of God that God put in charge of the nation of Israel. We didn't learn that. We chided and we tempted the Most High God again with this water business. Verse 3, and the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt? There you go again. Sometimes, Salakia, it can be hard working with your own people like. I mean, my God, brother. Again, you ask him the same question. I would have slapped somebody. I would have slapped all of you niggas that asked me that question. We would have had to throw hands like Aaron the plumber. It would have had to be on site when I saw you, because you're not going to ask me again after the Most High provided for you before. You're not going to keep asking God, well, would you bring us out of the land for us to just die? Clearly not. Clearly not. You lasted 40 years in the wilderness by yourself with the help of Moses and his army. Why, in the Most High God, why would you think that the Lord will bring you here to die? Because you lack faith. Because you'd rather be a slave in America. You would rather celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving. It was better for you, more convenient for you in Egypt. Stop being so lazy. Stop being so lazy and lacking so much faith that you don't believe in the Isupk to do the thing that Most High wants us to do. The Most High God, this is the government of the Most High God, and he's going to erect the 144,000 out of Commander Juliana's men. Whether you believe it or not, it's going to happen. So why don't you just join us instead of murmuring against Commander Juliana? Why don't you actually do what Commander Juliana says instead of trying to do your own thing? Because clearly that has not worked out for you so well. Learn the lesson that God wants us to learn, man. Verse 4. And Moses cried unto the... Oh, Salaki, I'm sorry, I didn't even finish that one, Elisha. It gets better. Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt, to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? You a bunch of weak Negroes, man. That's the people who don't... Anytime somebody don't come into the UPK, I know, or leave the UPK, I know they're weak. When you leave this truth, or you don't come into the weak, you're a weak Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. And listen, it's not a sin to be weak. I want to make that clear. It's not a sin to be somebody who's weak, but you're going to have to get your strength from somewhere. Church hasn't strengthened Black people. The Democratic and Republican Party hasn't strengthened Black people. America did a terrible job of trying to strengthen Black people. You know what strengthens Black people? The Isupk under Commander Juliana. That's what strengthens our people. That's right. That's what gives you strength to fight. That's what gives you the strength to be patient. That's what gives you the strength of faith, is the Isupk under Commander Juliana. Let's keep going. Verse 5. Verse 4, and Moses cried unto the Most High, saying, what shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. Moses is like, Moses, what do you want me to do with these hard-headed niggas?
These niggas tripping.
They about to kill me, oh Lord. What do you want me to do with them? You give me the order, and we're going to do with these people what you want me to do. This is what the Lord said. Verse 5, and the Most High said unto Moses, go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river. Take in thine hand and go. The Most High God is about to give us water, just like he gave us manna for complaining about being hungry. The Most High God is a good father. That's one thing you better understand about the Most High. You listening to nuts and white atheists and white philosophers that do nothing all day but philosophize God and think they know everything about the Bible. With theologians, that's another one. Another group that thinks they know more than the UPK. All of you internet clout nuts that think you know more than Commander Juliana's men, and all of you fake Israelites. You don't know God. That thing is clear. Life has shown me one thing. And if it's not anything else, it's that people don't know who God really is. You think that the Most High is this magician, or you have it because of the Christian church that he's going to bless you with all the money. The Most High God is a good father. He's a perfect father. Although you murmured and complained, God could have just wiped you out. He could have just said, man, I'm about to just create a new race of people who won't complain. He suffered us. That's a perfect father, man. You have children. I'm going to come to you in 1 second, Elisha. You have children, they complain and be ungrateful, and you're teaching them to be grateful. You're teaching them, shalom, sis. You're teaching them to be grateful. You're teaching them how to have patience, but they still lack patience. They still lack faithfulness. They still lack love. They still lack faith. And you're teaching them. And as you're teaching them, you still provide for their needs. That's a perfect father. That's the Most High God. That's the Most High. Christians, all that talk about how they love Jesus and God. God is a perfect father like the Christians teach about. Christians say he's loving and he loves and he's perfect. He absolutely is. The problem is you don't really love him. That's the problem. You don't love him. How do I know? Because your actions tell me different. If you love God, you will be here in Isupk keeping the laws of God. You will be in here with us, showing our brothers love, feeding the homeless, defending the poor and the fatherless. You stay in a church and celebrate Christmas. Stay in a church and celebrate Thanksgiving. Celebrate Easter coming up next week. Good Friday, Black Friday, New Year's. You don't love God. You talk about it, but you don't do it. Go ahead, Elisha.
Oh, it's like, yeah, if I may. And then this is the thing. When you Christian, when you think like a Christian, and when you feel like you're entitled, a lot of times when we're in the world, we feel like, we suffer from entitlement. Like the Lord just has to give us what we ask for when we want it. You don't think the Lord, the Most High God, knows that we need some damn water?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? He knows everything that we need. But when are we gonna humble ourselves and do what He asks us to do?
Yeah, right.
You understand? Like He pulled us up out of Egypt. And you reading right here in the book of Exodus, He pulled us out of Egypt. We witnessed these miracles. We were complaining in Egypt. You understand? We humbled ourselves for a split second, but soon we forgot. Because you said, when brothers and sisters leave the school, when they leave the truth, that's because they wasn't built up. And you suffer from some type of entitlement, like the Lord has to give you what you want on your demand.
That's right.
And we don't do the same for Him. We don't even think about doing what the Lord asks us to do because we so focused on what the hell we want to do. And that's a problem.
Yeah, right.
That's why we willingly want to go back into Egypt versus serving the Most High God. We want to stay slaves because the Most High God, like you said, Adonai, He's not no damn genie. And I yield. Salaki.
Yeah, right. We are 6, Elisha. We're 6.
Exodus chapter 17, verse 6 in the Hebrew. Hananya, Aimad, Lapanyak, Sham, Al, Hatazawar, Bakara, Wahakyak, Batazawar, Wayatazawa, Mama Nawa, Manyam, Washata, Ha'ain, Wayaish, Khan, Masha, La'ai Yanya, Zaquanya, Yasha'ala, verse 7.
He's talking to 12.
While Korah, Sham, Hama Kwawam, Masa, Wamara, Ramayaba, Al, Raya, Banya, Yasha'ala, Wa'al, Nasatam, Yahweh, La Amar, Hayash, Yahweh, Bakwar Noah, Ayan, verse 8. Wayaba'a, Ay Malak, Wayalakam, An Yasha'ala, Barak Yadam, verse 9. Wayamar Masha Al Yahawashai, Bakar Lanawa, Anashim, Watazah, Halacham, Ba'im Laqwa, Machar, Anakya, Natazah, Al, Ra'ash, Hagaba, I, Wamata, Halahaya, Bayadya, verse 10. Waya Aish, Yahawashai, Ashar, Amar, Lawa, Masha, Laha, Lacham, Ba'ai Malak, Wa Masha, Aharan, Wa Hawar, Awa, Ra'ash, Hagaba, I. Verse 11. Wahaya, Ka Ashar, Yarayam, Masha, Yadwa, Wagabar, Yasha'al, Waka Ashar, Yanayak, Yadwa, Wagabar, Imalak. Verse 12. Wayadya, Masha, Kabadyam, Waya Kwakwa, Aban, Wayash Yamwa, Dakha Dakyawa, Wayasha, Alya, Waharan, Wahawar, Damakwa, Bayadyawa, Mazah, Ahad, Wamaza, Ahad, Wayahaya, Yadiyawa, Amanawa, what's that? Amawana, I, Ba'a, Hashama.
This is Exodus chapter 17, verse 5. And the Most High said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river. Take in thine hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Most High, saying, Is the Most High amongst us or not? Then came Amalek, who was Amalek, the so-called Jewish man. Keep that in mind. And fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, which is Yahushai in the Hebrew, and Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of the Most High in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. Verse 12. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon, and Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So just so you can visualize that, Aaron took an army. He chose a military out of the children of Israel. What does that mean? He took the strongest, the best men that you could out of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And he took them down to go and fight and defend us against these Amalekites, right? The so-called Jewish man, the chief of all Edomites. And they went down. Moses said, I'm going to stand at the top of the hill with the Most High God's staff, Mataya Allah, which means the rod of the Most High. And he took that, and because of his old age, his hand kept coming down. Whenever his hand came down, as he's looking, why did he go on top of the hill? So he could see the fight. So he could see the battle. He could see the war between Amalek and Israel. As his hand, as that staff comes down as his hand comes down with that staff, we began to get overtaken. We began to lose. But as his hand came up and he rolls that staff, we began to win. He took Aaron and Hur. Aaron is his brother, Aharon and Hur, which is another elder of Israel. They see that his arm is weakened, so they lose in the battle. We losing, his hands coming down because of his old age. They took a stone and kept it under there so his hand could stay up with that staff. And they began to hold his hand up so we can win the battle. Now, why is this so important? This shows the spiritual power of the Most High God, because that is absolutely spiritual. There's something called the fourth dimension, which we cannot see. But there are angels that are in the fourth dimension that sends reports to the Most High. And there are angels that the Most High God created for vengeance and for wrath. There are angels that the Most High God created for healing the sick and defending the poor. There are angels that are in this fourth dimension. And there is a scripture in the book of Joshua, Elisha, in First Kings, where there's an angel of God in the fourth dimension that the prophet of God can see. And it says in the Bible that as he took his sword and the sword stayed up in the air, that the people died. But when he let his sword down, Elisha, the people lived. That same, not the same angel, I can't say that, that would be inferring. But the angel of God was with Moses. That's the reason why when he raised that staff, you can best believe in the fourth dimension, there is an angel that is causing us to win this fight spiritually. So now Joshua and his men, they are advancing upon the Amalekites and taking over the Amalekites to defeat them in battle. Whenever that sword, that staff comes down, though, Elisha, we begin to get overtaken and are losing.
Coming.
Everyone understand that. That shows you the spiritual power of the Most High God. Go ahead and read what you got, Elisha. It's all on you.
This is Exodus chapter 17, verse 13 in the Hebrew. While Chalash, Yahawashai, I Malak, Wa'ah, I Mwa, La Payah, Harab. Verse 14. Wayamar Yahweh al Mashah Hatab Za'af Zakarwan Basapar Washayam Ba'azanya Yahawashai Kaya Macha Amacha Zakar Amalak Mafakah Hashemayim. Verse 15. Wayaban, Masha, Mazabak, Wayakora, Shamwa, Yahweh, Nasya. Verse 16. Wayamar, Kayad, Yad, Al, Kas, Yad, Malachama, La Yahweh, Ba'ai Malak, Madar, Dara. Exodus chapter 18, verse 1. Waya Shemai, Yathara, Yatharwa, Kahan, Madian, Kathan, Masha, Kar, Shor, Aisha, Al Yahom, La Masha, Wala Yash, Wala Yashala?
Yep, come.
Wala Yashala, Amwa, Haya, Hawataza Ya'a, Yahweh, Yashala, Mama Tazari. Verse 2. Wayakwak, Yathara, Hathan, Masha, Taza Hara, Asha, Masha, Achar, Shalawakia. Shalawakia. Last verse. Verse 3. Wa'ah, Shana, Shanya, Banya, Ashar, Sham, Had, Garsham, Kaya, Ashar, Gar, Hayayahya, Ba'arataza, Nakar.
This is Exodus chapter 17 and verse 13. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Most High said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar, and called the name of it Jehovah Nisi, for he said, because the Most High has sworn that the Most High, for he said, because the Most High have sworn that the Most High will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Chapter 18, verse 1. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that the Most High had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Most High had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, this is verse 3, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I have been an alien in a strange land.
Now we're back in the Hebrew. Exodus chapter 18, verse 4. Washam, Ha-Chad, Al-Ya, Izar, Kaya, Al-Yazar, Eleazar, Kaya, Haya, Abiyah, Ba'izariah, Wayataza, Lanya, Mahara, Parai. Verse 5. Wayamar, Asha, Anya, Kathanak, Yatharwa, Ba'a, Yat, Wa'ashadak, Washanya, Banya, Aima. Verse 7. Wayataza'a, Masha, Laquara, Noah, Wayashakwa, Wayashak, Lawa, Wayasha, Wayasha'awa, Ayash, Lara Iowa. Lara Iowa, La Shalom, Waya Ba'awa, Ha'alaha. Verse 8. Waya Sapar, Masha, Lachachnawa, Kal, Ashar, Aisha, Yahweh, La Parai, Wala Matazarium, Awa, Da, Yashala, Kal, Hatha, La'a, Ashar, Matazatham, Badarak, Waya Tazalom, Yahweh. Verse 9. Wayakad, Yathar, Wa'al, Kal, Hato, Wabah, Ashar, Aisha, Yahweh, La Yasha'ala, Ashar, Hataza Yawal, Hataza Yawal, Mayad, Matazari. Verse 10, last verse. Wayamar, Yatharwa, Barawak, Yahweh, Ashar, Hataza Yal, Athakam, Mayad, Matazarium, Wam Yad, Parai, Ashar, Hataza Yal, Ha'aim, Mahtachach, Yad, Matazarium.
This is Exodus chapter 18, verse 4. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for the Most High of my father said he was my help, and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he encamped at the mount of the Most High. And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law Jethro, am come unto thee, and thy wife, and her 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance, and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent. Verse 8. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Most High had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Most High delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Most High had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. Verse 10. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Most High, who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who had delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Even a heathen like Jethro, who was a Midianite, an African, he rejoiced to the Most High, which is what the Lord wanted. Now you see why the Most High, why he did the things he did with Pharaoh, why he hardened his heart, why he sent the plagues. Now the entire earth knows who the Most High God of Israel is, and that is just what the Most High God wanted. With that, I imagine this us up here. Sar,
La Yashala,
Sar. I imagine, which means to stand. Everyone stand. which means to rise and face the east. We're going to start with the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew.
The Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayah. Kodash. I just scoot over a little bit. Right there you go. You find right there.
Okay. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh.
Malak.
Ratazai. Hayah. Aisha. Laharatazai. Kawah. Hayah. Mashamayah. The thunder now. Lacham. Yawam. Wasalachna. Kawawafna. Kasalachna. Kawawafna. Wala. Dabayana. Nasayawan. Awashayana. Mayan. Kaya. Nakah. Amen. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Akak, the power in the Hebrew, Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Babakushah. The thunder now. Akak. La'pa'ah. Kal Madawa. Akak. Latahar. Hamatazariah. Akak. Lahaku. Hamath. Akak. Awakawa. Tama'ala. Ba'ashem Yahushua. The water Aman. In English, Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All men of sickness, and all men of disease, the power to cleanse the leper, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, in the name of Yahushua. Thank you, so be it. The prayer to bless Israel in the Hebrew, Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Barak Lanah. Yasha'Allah. Bayatsapar. Barak. Magun. Ba'ashem Yahushua.
The water Aman. What we just said was Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Bless us and Israel in the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahushua. Thank you, so be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Ayanu.
Ahahari.
Ma'ayan. Yaba'ah. Aizar. Ma'ayin. Yahweh. Aisha. Shemaiah.
Waharatazai. Ayatan. Namawat. Nagal. Al-Yanawam. Shamar. Hana. La'ah. Yanawam. Wala'ah. Yayashan. Shawamar. Yasha'Allah. Yahweh. Shamar. Yahweh. Tazal, Al-Yad, Yamnika, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'ah, Yakab, Wayarab, Alayala, Yahweh, Yashamar, Makal-Ra, Yashamar, Afnapash, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazal, Babawaka, Maitha, Wa'ai, Aman. In English, I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in. From this time forth and even forevermore. So be it. This is Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al-Damayalakha.
Al-Damayalakha.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Takarash.
Al-Tashakwat.
Al-Tashakwa.
Kiyahana.
Al-Yabi.
Yahamayawan. Mashanai. Nashawa. La'ash. Al-Amika. Yarayama. Sawad. Wayathigai Tazawa. Al-Tazapawanya.
Amawa. Lakawa.
Nakaki. Goya. Wala. Yazakar. Sham Yashal. Aiwa. Kaya. La, Yachadu, Alika, Baya, Yakaraf, Adawam, Wayashamaal, Mawab, Hagari, Wamalat, Halasha, I'm Yashab, Tazawu, Gamashu, Nalawa, Iman, Iowa, the Bunyalawat, Salah, Aisha, Laham, Kasayasara, Kayab, Nakar, Yashma, Bayanda,
Bayanda,
Iowa,
Daman,
Sheyathamma, Kaira, Okazaba, Kalna Say Akamba, Ashar, Yarashah, Nawa, Alahaya, Sheyathamma, Gagaga, Panyaraka, Kaash, Tabayariyawa, Okalaha, Karyam, Basahara, Wabasawapaka, Dabahala, Panyaham, Palawan, Wayabakwashka, Shamka, Yahweh, Yabashwa, Wayabahala, Ayah, Wakapar, Wayabad, Wayadai, Kaya, Atha, Shamka, Yahweh, Nabad, the one, Call, Ratazah, Aman, Psalms 83 in English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And consulted against thy enemies. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation. That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes, the Baal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. I also join with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Salah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as the brook of Kazan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zed. Yea, all their princes as Zabad, and as Amunah, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of Yahweh in possession. Oh, my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burst the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded, and trouble forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So be it. This is the prayer, the blessings of the power structure in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Yahweh Shah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahaya.
Wa Alahaya.
Ma Tazabia.
Ma Tazabia.
Salakia. Alawap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Ha Alawap.
Ha Alawap.
Ha Saranya.
Ha Saranya.
Ha Katazayanya.
Ha Katazayanya.
Ha Kayayawi.
Ha Kayayawi.
Wa Akwaki.
Wa Akwaki.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ma Shimi Awashah.
Ma Shimi Awashah.
The Wada Aman.
The Wada Aman. In the English, Yahweh. Salaki. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Yahweh Shah.
And Mike. And the angels. Commanding General Yahweh. The generals. The captains. The officers. And the troopers. Salaki. The officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
Thank you.
So be
it. Sorrow, which means to turn. Men of Israel, gird up thy loins and prepare to salute the Torah. Sorrow. How about Shem Yahweh Shah Brak Yah? Sorrow. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Men of Israel, Amadu Shabbat, Amadu, Barak, Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatam, Yajimatah, Sar, face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Amadu Shabbat, Amadu, Barak, Yahweh Shema Alatham, Shem Yahweh Shah, Yajimatah, dismissed.